Hey everybody, if you got a 7th generation Accord you want to modernize a little bit, one of the simplest things you can do is get an Android head for it. Now, especially with the 7th gen Accords, these are very easy to install. And of course, there's a lot of sellers of these things out there. And this is like a newer seller, so they actually provided me this unit in exchange for an install video. Now, I've done install videos of Android heads in the past, and to be honest with you, I think this seller did a great job. The unit wasn't buggy. Initial connections to Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay work just perfectly. And what I'm most impressed with is they give you a very detailed troubleshooting guide and a very detailed instruction manual. So, there's always a million questions in the install videos out on YouTube. Why don't I get reverse lines? Why aren't I getting sound? Why, and they actually have all those spelled out in their troubleshooting guide. So, if you'd purchase this one, it would probably save you a lot of headaches and, making sure you get it right the first time. Typically it's user error, install error, configuration error. So anyhow, I'll quit wasting your time. Let's get right into the video here and see what you think of this unit. Okay, real quickly, I want to show you what you get here. And actually, you don't necessarily need all of these cables. But of course, you get the head itself. Now, the buttons on this head, I really like their response, the feedback from them. And the knobs, I don't know if you can hear that, but a nice tactical feedback on those also. You do get a trim tool. Of course, that's the box it came in. It was packaged very nicely. Now, this cable harness, if you have a dual zone climate control in your car, you will not need this one. This is only if you have a single climate control, you plug the regular, the single connector coming from the car in here, then these go into the back of the radio. Now this bundle of RCA cables, this is like a standard bundle that comes with these Android heads. Now with this head, you don't necessarily need this at all unless you are wanting to plug in the external microphone. And you do get an external mic, but this does have a mic built into the head. So it really depends on how much you're planning on using the phone. I'm sure this would be higher sound quality, but you don't necessarily need it. Now this is the main power cable. Everybody's going to need that one. This is the input for the backup camera. Now, even if you don't plan on installing the backup camera, you need to install this cable. Please remember that, because these are the antennas, I believe, for the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. So if you don't install that, you'll be writing down some negative comments that doesn't work. So 2 USB ports, you get the cables that come with the kit. And now this does not come with a kit, but I did buy an extender, and I plan on, if I have enough room, I'm gonna mount that down in the cubby hole and, kind of have like an OEM looking install. And as you can see, this one has USB and USB-C. I'll put the link for that down below too, in case you're interested. GPS antenna. This is, if you're using CarPlay or Android Auto, you don't necessarily need this. But the head itself does have like a speedometer function. This will make that work. Or if you do want to use like Google Maps directly from the head, of course you have to be connected to a hotspot. You'll want to install that. And backup camera. Now this is one of the nice details I like with this seller. They actually give you a license plate bracket. Most of the others you have to go buy it separately, and it's going to cost you another, I don't know, $10. And this one also has a very small connection to the camera, so you don't have to put a very big hole in your car to get this fed through. And you might actually even be able to find a screw hole or something back there to get that ran through. Most of the other ones actually have an equivalent RCA connector like this, where you have to drill a very large hole into the car. And finally, the instruction manuals. Now I'm gonna, this is another, I think, benefit from this seller. They did a great job here. So let me, it's attention to detail from them. I'll put the camera on the stand here and just show you a few things in here. But it's almost like they went through all the negative comments on these heads and wrote down what the solutions are to them. So it will save you a ton of time and headache if you get this unit and have these manuals handy. All right, cover the documentation here real quickly. They actually give you a card to tell you how to reach out for customer service in case you need to. Easy to follow instructions to do that. Now I think this is the gem that comes with this seller's product. This is a troubleshooting guide, and basically what it has is it has all the wiring diagrams in case you have an issue. It'll help you figure it out. But more importantly, on the back side, they do have a FAQ section. And basically, when I look through these questions, I've done installs like this before, and I get the same 10 comments repeated 1,000 times. And basically, they have all those spelled out here, like, CarPlay's not working. I'm not getting Bluetooth music. Why aren't my reverse lines showing up? And it all has to do with configuration and installation. So if you're wanting to save yourself a headache, you know, I'd highly recommend this seller because they give you everything you need to know. Most other ones don't do that. Also easy to follow installation instructions that tells you exactly where all the wires need to go. There is a little section here on steering wheel controls. That's always a fabulous question in comments. And a very detailed user's manual. You know, gets into the car settings. There's another steering wheel control section in here. It tells you how to, you know, connect to Bluetooth, how to connect to Wi-Fi. You know, once again, yeah, Apple CarPlay tells you how to do all that. So once again, most of these come, you know, with not this amount of detail. So if you want to save some frustration, yeah, I would go with this unit. Now let's get out in the garage and get this install started. Okay, this is actually a very straightforward install. It shouldn't take long at all. There's a few pieces of trim we need to remove here at the bottom. We need to remove this piece up here at the top, and then remove the radio. Now, before we do that, I suggest disconnecting your negative battery terminal. I've already done that, just 10 millimeter wrench, and take that off. Set your emergency brake. It's just going to give you some more room because you're also going to have to put your car into neutral to get this handle back. The way to do that, there's this little thing right here. I would suggest getting a very small screwdriver. And you can pry this little piece out. That is out. What that then allows you to do is to stick your screwdriver down in here, or you can use your key. You press down, and then this allows you to move the gear shift back. It's basically a release. So that's why another reason you want your brake set so you're in position. So now let's start removing these trim pieces. The first trim piece you need to remove is this one around here. So just take the trim tool they provided and gently stick it under here and lift up, and it will remove the snaps around the edges. Okay, it popped out. Now, if you have heated seats, you are going to have connectors under here. So just be gentle, and all you need to do here is reach under, and these are just thumb tabs. I'll try to stay out of the way, but you just press the thumb tab in and slide the connector out. Now the next piece of trim you need to remove is this piece right here. You'll see two Phillips head screws. Lift this up, remove this thing that says not an ashtray, lift it out. And you're also going to have to remove this piece of trim right underneath that. It should just pop out too. Just get your trim tool under there. That comes out, and there's also two more screws in the back here. You need to take those out. So I'm going to take these 4 screws out and be right back with you. Oh, one more suggestion. I would suggest you have a magnetic screwdriver. You don't want to drop these screws down into the abyss. They'll be kind of hard to get, but you might also consider, you know, I've had one of these in the garage for years. It's just a magnetic reacher in case you drop something. So you could always stick it down in there and get them out. So anyhow, let me get these screws out and I'll be right back. And of course you have your cigarette lighter over here, so just be gentle. You lift this out, and there's also another connector you need to release right here. And that's just another thumb press, and it slides right off. So the next thing we need to take out is your cubby hole. There are 2 screws, Phillips head on the bottom. This magnet is extremely handy. All these screws are the same, so you don't got to worry about getting them mixed up. Now this thing just pulls straight out. I believe you need to put the door down to get it out of there. Along with a little bit of finagling, there we go. It's out. The next thing I'm going to take off is this upper trim piece, so I'll move the camera up. All right, the final piece of trim we need to take off is this top piece, and I think this is the one where most folks have the most amount of trouble. I would suggest instead of prying along the top, you pry along the bottom, because, you know, if you do put a mark on something, you'd rather do it on the radio you're taking out. So get your trim tool in here, and I believe the the clips go in this way and then down from the top. So starting to come, got that one. And then I think you lift up. Okay, all in all, that wasn't too bad at all. And actually, you don't need to disconnect this any farther. We just need to, now there's 3 screws up top here. I'm not going to move the camera, but there's 3 screws up top here. I'm going to take those out. And then there's 2 more underneath. I'll show you where they're at. But I'm going to take these 3 out, then these 2 out, and I'll be able to pull the radio directly out. Okay, those 3 screws are out, and then underneath, I'm sure you'd find them, but yeah, right here and right here, you need to take these out. These are actually either Phillips or an 8mm nut driver. I'm just going to use the 8mm. I think it's easier. So anyhow, I'm going to take those out. I won't bore you with watching me do that. Okay, so they're removed from the bottom, and now the next thing I need to do is just pull the radio straight forward. So, you know, grab it by the top, grab it by the bottom. There's just some clips on the side, and it should pop right out of here. Now there's quite a bit of stuff here on the back. I'm probably going to have to cut loose some of these service loops to give myself some room to actually get this all the way out. Oh, there it comes. Actually, there it comes. But yeah, you'll just see there's some connectors here on the back. They just have thumb presses to get them off. So you'll probably need to cut some of these, not the wires, but cut the tape loose and basically free this stuff up, and then pull all the connectors out of the rear. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to bore you with that, but yeah, basically just disconnect all the connectors on the back side of this radio. So the radio is fully disconnected. There's actually 5 connectors on the back of this radio. If you have a single climate control, I think you only have 4. FM antenna, once again, you just pull that straight out. And then all of these had thumb tabs on them. They were actually on the bottom, so they were kind of hard to get at. But yeah, you just press those in and pull them out. When you do that, pull on the connector, don't pull on the wires, or you might pull something loose. The only one was a little bit of a pain was this one. It had a real small push tab, so I actually had to stick a screwdriver in there with my big finger. So anyhow, yeah, it's out, and what I'm going to do now, you know, this here is useless anymore, but I'm going to go in and plug the wires into the new head into the kitchen, and then bring it out here and plug it in. Okay, so I have everything hooked up. I think it's easier to do this inside instead of on the front seat of the car. But, you know, I plugged everything in. Now, once again, if you're not planning on using, you know, the RCA bundle, you don't need to plug that in. But I plugged it in because I'm going to use, I'm at least going to install the microphone. GPS cable, thinking ahead about cable management. You know, these are the 2 USB ports, and it's nice to even label that 6-pin and 4-pin. So I have that zip tied together with my video cable because this is going to wind up down in the armrest. One thing you do need to do is with a video cable, you need to do the splice between, you know, the wire that runs parallel with the video cable, and then this will either say reverse or back coming from this harness. So make sure you splice those together. You know, 1,000 ways to splice something. I just put a twist splice on there with some tape. Another comment, there's a couple connectors that come off of this cable that need plugged in here, so make sure you do that. But anyhow, let's head out to the car and let the fun begin. All right, I got it all wired back into the car. Very simple, you know, blue connector to the blue connector, green connector to the green connector. And again, if you have a single AC unit, you know, you'll need that harness to adapt to the green cable from the car. Now I ran you can kind of see the GPS cable. I actually disconnected it to get it up there, but it's up in the front. I think that'll work fine for my needs. Of course, you could drill a hole and mount it up top, but with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, I'm probably not going to use the GPS much anyhow. And then I did route the microphone. It's going out the side here, and it's just sitting up here, and I'll figure out where I want to put that later. But anyhow, very simple. There's one more, you know, the service loop on this isn't long enough. This is the FM antenna. Don't forget this one. You know, it just slides into this hole right here. So what I'm going to do, you know, I'm going to turn the camera off, but I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to plug that in. Then I'm going to snap this in place and install the 3 top screws, and then we'll see how it works. Now, another thing I did, you know, this is the video cable for the backup camera and the 2 USB ports, and I just have them dangling down below right now. You know, I know a lot of folks just, you'll see videos where they toss those USB ports over into the glove box, but you know, I think I found out something pretty slick that I think you'll like, and you'll see that here in a few minutes with what I'm going to do with those. Okay, I have it installed, at least loosely. I actually haven't even put the 3 screws in up top yet, so I haven't turned the key. This is the first time. Let's see what happens. I did just reconnect the battery. There she goes. Yeah, first time power up. I don't know what happens. I don't know how long it takes, but I'm probably not going to bore you with this. What I'm going to do right now is start getting things put back together a little bit. I'll show you what I did with the USB cable. Also, actually, let me talk a little bit about the reverse camera. I'm going to do a test right now to make sure that camera actually works. And I suggest you do it now before you route this thing to the back, and then if you do have a problem with the camera, you don't know if it's on the front or you don't know it's on the back. So anyhow, after this boots up here a second, I'm going to show you how to do that, and it'll make your life easier if you're having trouble with the camera. Okay, real quick discussion to make sure you have the camera installed in the front correctly. So I have the camera, and I have the other end of the long camera cable. So I'm going to plug the camera in. Oh my God, I have bad eyes. Okay, I have that plugged in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the battery of the car, and I don't even need to put it in reverse for this. I'm going to go to the battery, I'm going to touch that to the positive terminal, and I'm going to touch that to the negative terminal. Now, if things are wired correctly in the front, wherever this camera is pointing is going to show on the screen, because basically that makes the head think the car was put in reverse, because in the end, when it's routed to the back, this will get routed to the rear backup light. So anyhow, I'm going to walk out to the front of the car. I'll turn the camera a little bit, walk out to the front of the car, and hopefully, you know, when I come back and review the footage, I'll see my face here or something on the screen. All right, so I'm pretty sure that worked. Once again, very important to do that. You know, my other videos, a lot of folks, hey, my camera's not working. And I'm like, did you do the test? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, it's something wrong in the front or back. So you do that and it'll save you some headache. So now I'm going to start snapping this thing back together. If there's something important to tell you, I'll let you know. But pretty much you just put it back in the way you took it out. Once again, I'll show you what I'm going to do with the USB cables. And just be very careful, because remember, your cubby, that lid flips up. So you don't want to get your wires in the way of that. Make sure you zip tie them to the side or something. And in the end, my reverse cable is going to be, I'm just going to leave it down here. I'm not going to hook that up tonight, but I'm just going to leave it down here in the armrest. Now, I'm not going to make a backup camera installation video. I did that for our 8th generation Accord, and it's exactly the same. So even the backseat removal is the same. So I will put a link to that in this video's description. Once again, it's a different radio, different car, but to get it to the back and how to hook it up is exactly the same. So should be very simple for you to do. Hey, real quick, I learned something that I think will help folks out. So when I was trying to put the cubby in below, I couldn't get it to go in, and that's basically if you have any wires hanging down, it gets in the way. So as you can see, I have zip ties up here now, trying to hold everything up as high as I can. And what I would suggest is, before you fully secure this thing and snap the top back in, I would actually put the cubby below in first. I mean, you're not putting screws in the bottom of this thing anymore anyhow. So put the cubby in first and make sure it's in there and you don't have interference problems when you plug all this in. So anyhow, just a pointer there. Okay, so here we are. Again, I don't have it in position, but I have all the wires up and out of the way. And then of course my camera wire and my USBs are over here zip tied to the side. So I'm going to set the cubby in here right now and get it secure, and then I'm going to put this part in. So I'll be back here in a minute. All right, so I got things finally in place. Yeah, that's probably been the most frustrating thing. This has been easy except for that cable management. It wasn't hard, just take your time. And Again, I put this in first before I fully fastened this in to make sure that, you know, I didn't have stuff hung up in there. So yeah, that's working just fine. Now let me get to what I did for the USB. Once again, I got the USBs right here. I got that long camera cable. I'm going to tuck the camera cable down in there when I'm done. But let me show you what I did with that USB panel adapter. So as you can see, it's right here. This is the ashtray. And if you look, I mean, that almost looks like it was made for it. Now, of course, if you use that 12-volt outlet, you wouldn't want to do this. But, you know, there's actually a second 12-volt outlet in the armrest, so really no need for this. And I was having trouble getting the cigarette lighter out of there, so what I did was on the back side, I just squeezed it a little bit, then pushed it through the front. So it's probably no good for anything anymore, but that actually just slid right in there. There's also a spring on this. I took that spring off because it was kind of frustrating. I think with a USB, you wouldn't want that slamming back down when you're trying to get it plugged in. But yeah, I think that's going to be great. So in the end, I'm going to plug those two, and yeah, again, I'll put the link for that in the description below. And I'm going to plug these two into that and tuck all the wires in there and finish buttoning this thing up. Okay, so I'm finally all put back together here, and this thing, you know, I haven't done anything fancy like connected it to Wi-Fi or CarPlay, but so far, yeah, it's working great. As you can see, the back left door is open, driver's side door is open. Let me turn that off. You know, it's extremely responsive here. If I do go to where that, I'm still too new to this to really know what I'm doing, but if I go to FM, you can see I'm on K-Hawk. This is a Cedar Rapids, Iowa station. I can't turn it up, of course, because copyright laws, but yeah, this thing's working great. I know there's some concerns with some of these with the environmentals, but you know, with turn the defrosters on, they're working. You know, you can see the climate controls changing, dual climate, so you know, blowing hot, blowing cold, everything seems to be working just fine. So let me get connected to CarPlay and kind of give you some more opinions on this thing. Okay, so I'm going to try to do a real quick demo to show you how easy this is. I actually grabbed my wife's phone because I connected to Bluetooth with my phone, and immediately then it asked me if I wanted to do CarPlay. Then it opened a Z-Link app, and boom, the next thing I knew, I was up with CarPlay. So super simple, just like with anything. Pete's phone, that's the phone that I already have connected. So I believe with my wife's phone, I think it's car Bluetooth. I touch that, it should connect. Yep, pair, allow. There, boom, Trish's iPhone, it's up and running. And then right now it's like, this popped up, do I want to connect to CarPlay? So I connect, and you know, it takes it a minute, but it figures it out and it connects to CarPlay. Now I know with the other Android heads we have in my daughter's cars, they get in them and within, I don't know, 20-30 seconds, CarPlay's connected and they're up and running. So yep, there it is, up and running. There's her apps, whatever, you know, she's got going on in her life there. So yeah, I think this is definitely a good unit. So far I'm extremely impressed with it. Maybe what I'll do real quick is just, you know, drive around the block and kind of show you how maps work. Where's maps? Those will be over here. Yeah, so there we are, but I'll take off down the road here and we'll see how those look, and hopefully I can get this wrapped up for you. Okay, so I'm heading down the road, and as you can see, you know, maps is working just perfectly. I have 5 o'clock somewhere playing over here, but of course I can't turn it up because I get a copyright strike. But yeah, so far I'm extremely happy with this unit. I mean, it's been, you know, not buggy. I got it turned on, connected, everything's working great. Buttons work great. You know, I know I just got this, but you know, I'd highly recommend it. I've dealt with other Android heads before, and sometimes they can be kind of buggy. So again, links are in the description. You know, even for the little USB, you know, I'll put the links for that down there too. But yeah, I think this is going to work out wonderfully. Highly recommend it. And you know, if you're looking at this 5 months from now, I'll keep it updated to tell you how the reliability of this held up. Thanks for watching.